And so here we are. It's 9:02 p.m. and we are now live. And as I always do in the beginning, I always throw this up there, kind of as advertisement promo. Uh, Tell you what, it's getting exciting, more exciting as we go because we got some cool vendors. Our vendor lineup is looking more creative. I mean, we got some face painting we just added today, which is going to be nice. I always love having face painting at the event. So um, we got a good lineup of speakers there, and I there's so much more I want to add to it. I can't do anything at the moment. Things I have to look into first. I was talking to a couple people. I said, "Man, I would love to have a Dunkin' booth, but there's a couple things I have to consider first." To run a Dunkin' booth, that's actually probably not as not hard to do. It's just it's one thing to get it there, but then the thing is, I got to figure out if I'm going to be able to fill it up with water. If I'll have that, I don't know if the rental companies provide that or not. Which I would probably have to have some brought in because I don't think there's enough water at the venue or a way to hook up. So, but there's a lot of there's a lot of excitement. We got like I said, I've been picking up some new vendors here the last couple days. So, and hopefully everybody could, if they're able to, come on out there. It's going to be great. So, and what else we got going on? For those who are just tuning in, we got the viewers starting to jump up there. Ladies and gentlemen, you won't see Nikki tonight. Nikki's actually out of town, and she's going to see a Kiss concert. So she loves those concerts. I've only been to a few. Let's see, one, two. Yeah, I've actually only been to, I think, two different concerts in my lifetime. So, so um, see, Edward. Let's see, hey buddy, do you like the pictures I sent you? I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look at them. I don't know. People send me stuff all the time. It's hard to keep up. All right, but giving a shout out here to a few of the people I see on the chat right now. Ricky Chirby, Zach Sterick, Michael Patterson, and Kelly Ray Jones. All right, and Edward. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, Nikki won't be here tonight. We are here with Baldemar Galvan Jr. And right before we went live, I made sure it was cool with Baldemar that I get to put him on the spot tonight. I'm basically going to be doing an interview with Baldemar here, and I'm sure we'll get into some discussions. And so listen closely. I'm sure you guys will have some questions. I will be watching the live chat the best I can. So I guess let's go ahead and jump right into it. First of all, Baldemar, welcome. And how things been going on your end?
So far, so good. We had our little meeting in Ormana. We had
Yes.
maybe around 20 people show up. It wasn't a bad turnout. Um, we had Mr. Morley show up, and he was one of our main speakers, and he educated a lot of the ranchers that were out there. I had Jenna Glover out there as well as the she squashers, and she did a fantastic job out. She did a fantastic job. Um, she was just sitting down there learning, and so she ended up learning some new techniques from other Bigfoot researchers, so like that she could actually work on the field now.
That's
A little
awesome.
bit better now, yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Now, was that what's the gentleman's name you mentioned there a little while ago?
John Morley.
Yeah, Morley. Yeah, Mr. Morley. Was he the one in the videos that you posted?
Yes, he was. And let me tell you one thing about this man. Um, he is a big mentor to me. And it's like you are Daniel, and Tracy Arnold, Shaky. I mean, just a few other ones, just to name a few. That I really looked up to and admire. Mr. Morley is real close to me, and we do a lot of research together. And there's sometimes, in order for you to learn certain things, I keep my mouth shut and let him teach me what he knows. And that's what makes a good researcher is like sharing other techniques with other researchers, like that we could actually learn from each other. So.
Nice. Now he showed some. He showed a cast or two. Well, are those casts that he had made, or
That's actually a cast that he actually found. He actually goes to East Texas a lot,
Okay.
And he is so familiarized with the anatomy of human anatomy, and he actually puts them together with the Bigfoot anatomy, whatever you, excuse my
Oh, no, I do the same thing. Don't feel
yeah.
bad.
And the thing was is that he also Bigfoot has a chin. Chimpanzees don't have a chin, gorillas don't have a chin, but Bigfoot has a chin. And he actually talked about the vowels and the words that the Bigfoot actually used. But there was one question that was asked, and he comes up and he goes, "I need to do some more research on that." And that was the letter M. That Bigfoot had problems pronouncing the M word. He did the A, E, I, O, U's and whatever, the T's, the R's. But Bigfoot was one thing that a lady asked in the audience, and so she comes up. He goes, "What about the M? I didn't see any, listen to any words with M in it." And
Hmm.
sure, and now he's going back and researching now, and to find out if there is words beginning with M that Bigfoot actually used, and also too the vocalizations that he had too, that they actually captured some some vocalizations that Bigfoot actually did, like chanting sounds, and
Hmm.
Native American Indians did chanting sounds, and dealing with prayer and things like that. And so he actually got that in audio, and he actually shared it with the public there.
Yeah. Real quick before you go on, if I could jump in there, listening to what you're saying, that almost sounds consistent or almost collaborates with. I don't know if you're familiar with Scott Nelson, who did a study on some vocals that he believed there would be some form of uh, speech or excuse me, language, but not known to nothing known to mankind. Scott Nelson, he was a Navy kind of. He was kind of like the one. I don't want to say he wasn't a code person. He worked with the Navy and he studied different languages and he was able to break codes and pick up on different languages. And but he did a study because he heard his son something a project his son was working on. His son had these recordings and he couldn't help but notice that he was picking up vowels and syllables out of it.
Right,
And and so he did a study on it. He studied it and analyzed it. And actually, anybody that's familiar with Scott Nelson, they can go online and look up Scott Nelson's Bigfoot language. And he breaks down. He's got a list of different syllables that that he was able to pick up out of it. Um, so that's interesting that Mr. Morley shares that information because it sounds almost similar, not identical, but it sounds like like I said, it collaborates with Scott Nelson's work. So,
right. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of people that actually work with the speech that Bigfoot does, and a lot of it is pretty close to a Native American language. And
mm,
the thing is, again, is that Mr. Morley made an excellent point. In order for us to, you and I right now, we communicate with English,
right,
and we think English, and I speak Spanish, so and also too I speak Spanish, and also too, and the people understand their own language, and they communicate with their own language.
right. Oh
German
yeah,
have their own speaking and everything like that. Tadio, and they communicate with their own language. And he believes that Bigfoot basically has his own language, of communication, and that he speaks Bigfoot speak, and that's the way that they actually can communicate with each other. So,
absolutely. I remember him mention that in his video. I thought that was very very clever. I mean, very impressive. It
oh
got me
yeah,
thinking. Yeah, it definitely got me thinking. So.
and then Daniel, let me tell you one thing. I have hours of him speaking on this subject, but I only was allowed to because I'm not an expert in computers or anything like that. But I recorded a lot of stuff that he said, and about a lot of the thing was just a little tiny little fraction what he actually said in this little meeting that we had. And
Right.
I'm trying to talk to somebody and check if I could get the whole thing out there like that. We could, because again, there's no experts. We believe and we feel that there's no experts in Bigfoot. There's not.
Mm.
But there are some people that have been around Bigfoots for so long that they know a little bit more than others. And there's some people that actually have been around, a little bit more than others, and they think they know it all, but they don't have anything to back it up with.
Exactly.
And then, so when you have a person like Mr. Morley come up there and actually, oh man, his evidence that he has basically is like put up or shut up, and he basically puts it up, and then so he basically has the evidence to back it up. But there's some people that don't have the evidence, and then so they're trying to sell ice to Eskimos, and they just can't do it. So that's why it, and then so that's why there's sometimes we have to you have to look at who do I learn from, and I personally learned from a lot from Mr. Morley, and another person is Gabriel. I learned a lot from Gabriel as well, and I learned from other researchers like that to teach me something that I really don't know or don't understand. And they come up there and they teach me these certain things for me to basically base my own opinion for the things that I need to learn, and and also to share with others.
Right. Huh. Um. One quick question. We have on the live chat. Um. We have a Miss Heather McDuffie. She's actually requesting to come in here, and she wants to share her story. Would that be cool with you, real quick?
Sure, please.
All right.
That's what makes the show, Daniel. That's what makes your show great. Is that people who are willing to share and stuff like that for us to have the opportunity to listen to these people. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
mhm.
If I'm not mistaken, Heather is from out of North Carolina. I met Heather. This is Heather McDuffie. Um, Give me a second. I'm trying to pull her up on my on Facebook. Here we go. Heather McDuffie, if you're listening, I am sending you a link on Facebook. And hold on, it's getting ready to pop up there shortly. All right. You now have the link to join in with us, Heather. Um, Feel free to jump on in there. I'll be watching for you. So, yep. Yeah, because she said she would love to call in and speak her piece. She was
Great.
because I just saw a because up above she mentioned, she said, I love the Native Americans. They just let things live. I am getting mad because everyone thinks Bigfoot is becoming a joke. When I saw my Bigfoot, I was aware of Bigfoot since I was 12. One day I will be on your show. Well, here you go. You
There
got the
you
link.
go.
Come on.
Hey, Daniel, I want to say something else too. Is
Oh yes.
when Jenna came up there and represented the she squashers. So they did a real nice write up on her little, and her and Jen
Yeah.
did a nice little write up. And then so here, hopefully next Thursday, they're going to do another write up with the she squashers and the stuff that we actually did this weekend.
Right.
And little things like that, little things like that is helps me and helps the research like that. More people can come up there and actually share their stories. And I had a lady show up there at the meeting and telling me in 19 this is what's so fascinating about it. In 1962, this gentleman got her uncle got lost in the woods, and he was actually pretty. He was real slow, and that's the best way that she described him. He was real slow and stuff, and so he was out. He was lost in the woods for a few days, and then all of a sudden they found him, and then he was saying that there was a big black man in the woods following him.
Yeah.
And then so we're like going, and they're like going, wow, So again, there's where this Bigfoot legend happens, and now other people are now starting to share their stories now in the 60s, 70s, 50s. And I'm telling them, just let me know, just tell me your story and let me know what day, what year, what month, or whatever. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
counting research.
Um, Real quick, I pulled this. I displayed this message up here because actually me and Nikki were talking about it last weekend. I guess not everybody's up to date on Ontario Sasquatch, Mike Patterson, and the speaking Bigfoots up there in Canada. That was all a hoax. It was discovered to be a hoax long before they confessed to it. They did confess to this being a hoax. So, for those who don't know, Miss Kathleen, that's why I'm bringing it up publicly, so that for you and anyone else that's not aware of it, Mike Patterson is a hoaxer. The son was the voice of, that was the alleged speaking Bigfoot. They all there was videos and everything that were confessed that they were hoaxing. That this was all part of a hoax. So, so unfortunately, that's why I'm bringing it up to y'all's attention again. Mike Patterson and Ontario Sasquatch was no more than just a hoax. So that's the truth. All right, I had to get that out of the way because it's funny, we were just talking about that last weekend. So
Wow.
yeah. Marcella said, "Hello, Baltimore."
Hey, Marcella, how you doing? We need to talk again one day and soon. Man, let me tell you one thing. That lady, I could talk to her for hours,
Yeah.
and
um,
she knows it.
I don't know if Heather's having stage fright. I'm waiting for her to come on in. She's got the link. It shows that she's seen it. So
Come on, Heather. Come on in.
yeah. My father jumped on the live chat. So all right. So I guess while we're waiting on Heather to show up, I hate to start into something and then her pop up, but I guess let me ask you. Yeah. First of all, what got you started with Bigfoot, and how long have you been known about Bigfoot?
Wow, that's a good question, Daniel. It's well, I I started with Bigfoot when I was small, and I remember being real young, and I learned about the Patterson films and everything like that. That was totally fascinating. And
Yeah.
then uh, and then never in a million years did I ever think that there was actually a Bigfoot in South Central Texas. You
Yeah.
know. And then when we were small, we would actually hear stuff. And the only thing that came to mind, oh, that's a lechusa or that's a mountain lion, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and that's what we were raised up as. Then all of a sudden, when I actually had my encounter in October of 2013, sure enough, I started questioning the old timers, and sure enough, and everything just fell into place. And then when And then, so when I started talking to the old timers, and they were telling me their stories about Bigfoot. Is that your side? Is it your side, Daniel, or my side? Is that your side or my side?
Although she was saying that she can't get in here. Yeah, she's asking if I could call her. I said, if this was a radio show on the radio platform,
Yeah,
this is a podcast. I can't call her. So,
you sound really weird here in my end.
okay, hold on, maybe. I heard the sound now. Something here.
There you go. No.
it sound now?
Better.
That's because I unplugged my mic. Hold on. Hold on, let me try something. All right, how's it sound now?
No.
Yeah, I don't know what sounds like my mic.
Yeah, it's your mic.
It's a hit and miss. Sometimes it acts up, sometimes it's okay.
Now, she was trying to get on, and what happened?
No, she wanted to.
No.
All right. She wanted to call in. She wanted to, and it's not a call-in show, and I can't call out. That's the thing.
Oh.
So yeah, she said her phone was acting crazy. So I don't know why. So all right. So yeah, you guys can hear me okay like this?
Yes. Now you can. Excellent.
Okay, as long as you guys can hear me, I guess it's all right. I'm not used to having the mic plugged in, but I don't know why it started acting up. I guess I need to get a new headset. So, all right. Yeah, I'm not used to using the laptop's microphone, so
I use it all the time.
yeah. Okay. So I guess we'll continue on here. Can you tell us? I know we spoke about this before, but could you tell us about Native American folklore? And if any of it's true, yeah, definitely specify if any of it's true. I do recall in the past that you had made mention how Native Americans love their folklore, and a lot of it's just information or stories. Sometimes it gets passed along through generations, but yeah, as far as folklore, Native American folklore, especially when it comes to Bigfoot, what could you tell us about that?
See, dealing with that is it's like a very secret thing, because because we believe that the daytime was for us and the nighttime was for the spirits and everything like that. Even when it came to war, so we just waited until sunrise in order for us to go hunting, for us actually to go to war. And we always respected the night, and we believed the nights were actually were for the spirits. And then, so the thing is also too is also dealing with the garden of the forest, and that was Bigfoot's time. The night was Bigfoot's time, for him to go hunt or whatever he needed to do, and we had to respect that. So.
Now, as far as stories and stuff, I'm sure you've heard all kinds of stories and everything, but have in your recollection, in your knowledge, we hear throughout different descriptions, throughout reports and stories of Bigfoot being so tall. Most average you hear is about maybe 10 feet tall, is the largest I've heard. But then there's some people that claim they get tall as trees. What's your stance on that?
Well, I believe, again, I listen to the eyewitnesses,
Mm-hmm.
and then to me that is more factual than anything else. And when they say they see some that are 4 foot, sometimes 5, sometimes 6, 7, 8, 9, and no bigger than 9 feet. And the thing is, again, you have to listen to these people because they actually seen it. And then I cannot make an assumption that there are bigger than 10 feet, 12 feet, 24 feet, 30 feet, or whatever. I'm just going what I saw. Mine was basically pretty close between 8 and 9 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's no bigger than that. But I can make an assumption and put my reputation, put my name out there, saying, well, there's 10 footers, 24 footers, 30 footers. I cannot say that because that's not accurate.
Right. Yeah, I've. Oh man, hold on. I just lost my train of thought. Oh man, what was I gonna say? It was something I think the Black Panther that walked behind you made me forget your cat.
Yeah, my Luna, gosh, she's a sweetheart.
Okay, I'll come back to that in a second. If I remember, I'll come back to that. What was I gonna say, man? I hate when I get brain farts on that.
Well, I'm going to put something else, a thought for y'all, and dealing
Okay.
with Native American stuff. Okay, let's say, for example, let's say there's no theory, or just a guess of mine,
Mm,
that Native American Indians lived in these woods for so many years, and they have
mhm.
actually have encountered a lot of the Bigfoot activity, whatever. And they left them offerings, they left them gifts like we normally do to our spirits or to our foes into the woods. I'm gonna be a little bit graphic if you don't mind,
Oh
because
no, go ahead.
this the PG rated. Let's say,
That's
for
what.
example,
That's why I
yeah,
have that little thing up in the top right hand corner. It said rated MB for mature
yeah.
Bigfoot.
Well, let's say, for example, that these people that they actually see in the woods and encounter in a everyday basis, whatever. Let's say, for example, that they came over there and got massacred by other people,
Right.
and they witnessed this and they saw this, and there's nothing that they could have done about it, and they just watched this. And let's say, for example, that there was nothing that they could do. Let's say, for example, they actually saw the aftermath and everything like that, and went back into the woods. And let's say, for example, that they want to be a part of of this world, and that that's why they wanted to stay hidden from everybody else, because the people that they knew actually was no longer anymore. And then so and I just throwing a hypothetical out there. It's like, what happens if they see all that, and then when they see us go into the woods and they see us looking for them, how are they going to act, and how are they going to react with other people to, hey, come over here and be our friend. We want to know a little bit more about you.
Mm,
And I don't think that they would do that.
right.
And that's why I think that that's why they stay hidden. We try to protect our families and our aunts and our grandparents way back in the day the best we possibly could. But too many people came and just basically destroyed the culture. So, and they basically saw all this, and how are they going to react? I would stay hidden myself.
Right. Well, you made a good illustration. It's like even today, we got, families with young children. They want to go outside and play. That's fine. We tell them stay in the yard. Don't go outside the yard. Don't go past the fence or whatever.
Right.
There's dangers beyond that point. It's kind of like the same, almost the same aspect, I believe, with Bigfoot. You know, they try. I believe they try to teach your young the limitations of where they can go. With or without
Right.
the adults. Because there's other dangers, and either those dangers be us or other predators that are in the forest.
Right.
So with the intelligence they have, I do believe that they do find a way to construct that, to their younger ones. So even
Hmm.
the adults, they got to be aware of the dangers.
For sure.
I mean, I know, a lot of people. I think there's some people that think Bigfoot could be invincible. I mean, as far as I believe, just like any other being on this earth, human, not human, animal, whatever. I mean, there's death to everything, and there's dangers to everyone and everything. So
Right.
they get, with experience, they got to know their limitations,
Sure.
So, but you know, so I think it's a very interesting thing. So, Heather sent me a link to my own podcast. Oh. All right. Yes. Okay. I don't know if she meant to send it to me, but I know I'm live. That's funny. Um, um, yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah. I was thinking
Um,
about that. I was thinking about that the other day. And again, there's sometimes, I come up there, and when I'm in the woods, I just think a lot.
right.
And there's sometimes too when I go into the woods, sometimes I put my regalia on, sometimes I put my face paint on, and I
Mm-hmm.
just walk around the woods and everything like that type deal. And maybe for me is that maybe they could be like something that they actually, again, dealing with their language. it's if they could be speaking Native American tongue, and maybe that they can communicate with each other and saying a long time, well, just hypothetically speaking, maybe that they could be speaking to each other and saying, I remember the wild man that actually used to, our brothers that used to be in the woods and they're not around anymore. And let's say, for example, if I go down the woods, if I put on my regalia and I put down my face paint and I walk down these woods, and if they see me, and how would they react? But again, nobody's tried that. And again, sometimes we have to think outside the box to get a reaction.
Right.
So
Well, yeah, let me ask you this. You just kind of made a thought pop in my head. Now, ghillie suits. Some ghillie suits, some of the real good ones, I mean, the military uses them. Yeah, some hunters use them. So, so I guess a ghillie suit, people get fooled. A ghillie suit, somebody hiding in the bushes in a ghillie suit. I mean, we could overlook that because you think that would be effective towards hiding in an area where Bigfoot might roam? I mean,
sure, if you could hide the smell.
yeah, okay, that's another one. So,
So the thing is,
um,
again, people. I mean, gosh, so these animals are so intelligent, and
yeah,
it's like deer. The thing is, again, you have to think about Bigfoot's like deer, because if you come up there and you drop something or whatever, they'll smell that and
hmm
they'll know that you're there. They feel that you're there. And the thing is, again, I mean, you just have to outsmart the fox. It's sometimes very difficult to do that, and once they know that you're there, forget about it. I'll give an example. We were deer hunting one day. A family member of mine, and Lord and behold, we were deer hunting, and sure enough, I left my blind, and then that big old buck knew that I left the blind, and he knew it right away. So when I got back
yeah,
in my truck, took off. Lord and behold, the buddy that I'm hunting with shoots this monster of a buck, thinking that I left already, and lo and behold, he completely forgot that there was another hunter out there.
oh wow,
So that's why, again, it's outsmarting the animal.
hmm.
Uh, sometimes we got to think outside that box.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do believe in thinking outside the box. Absolutely. Sometimes I think some people think way beyond outside the box. I think they've left the they left the sandbox and went beyond the sand, and I think some kind of fell into the ocean, or went drifted into outer space with some of the theories they have, or some of the ideas, or the imagination that they share
Oh my
today.
God! Well, and then
Yeah,
I know that you and other people, but you and I heard it all. You
yeah,
know, and there's
oh
sometimes
yeah,
Daniel, I think, how did how do these people come up with these things? And then so, excuse my French, but that shit must really be good, you know?
I think they watched too many episodes of the Twilight Zone.
Oh,
It makes you wonder. I mean, because some of the ideas and the theories that I hear on social media, I get to thinking about some of them. I was like, wait a minute, I think I remember seeing that in a certain movie. So it makes you wonder. I mean, because there's all kinds of movies. I like sci-fi movies. I like alien movies. I like a lot of those kind of movies. And it gets you thinking. So somebody's had to seen something to make them think this.
yeah,
Even when you're young, when you see movies, and they say as you get older, those movies and what you see visioned on those movies, sometimes they become dreams in your mind, or just thoughts that dwell in your mind and get you thinking. You know, um, like, could that be possible? Could this be the reason why this or that? I'm I'm not gonna say it's not possible, but it's just until we can prove otherwise. You know,
right.
because I like to think that there's certain things I don't agree with all the theories, but some I consider there could be possibilities of some of it being true.
Okay,
But
yeah. if we come up with the craziest thing that we could ever think of, I heard a story one time. I don't know where it came from, but I heard a story one time that Bigfoot was in the kitchen eating pickles from a jar using a wooden spoon.
Oh no, that definitely wasn't Harry and the Hendersons. He just tore up
I'm
the whole
going,
kitchen.
oh my God. I'm going, come on. Are you serious?
Wow.
I'm going, okay. I mean, I could come up with, let me tell you one thing, I could come up with some good ones, but stuff like that really takes the cake, you know?
Oh, give me a second. I'm gonna step away from the computer, but I got another one I remember. I'll share very shortly. Give me like 10 seconds. I'll be right back.
Sound good. I could drink a little bit of beer with my Bigfoot glass.
All right, here we go. All right. Yeah, one story I heard. This lady, of course, a lot of people come to find out, they think she's a nutcase anyway. I won't even mention her name. But this one lady claims that Bigfoot used to walk down into her walk-in basement and poop in the cat's litter box and down in the basement. Some people might be familiar with that story because I remember reading it from her myself one time. So back when I used to follow a lot of the other different people.
Wow.
So yeah, it's quite often quite crazy. By the way, we did have a question on here for you. I didn't want to interrupt you while you're talking a little while ago, but Guy Sloop was asking, what Native American tribe is Baldemar descended from?
It's Lepan Apaches down South Central Texas. And then so we actually, and then through the genealogy, we actually learning that there's some other tribes that we actually are affiliated with, but this is the only tribe that I go by. But we're slowly learning about other members of my family that were different tribes. So.
Nice. By any chance, any members, anything to do with the Iroquois by any chance?
No, there's
No.
actually a band, and we're still doing research on it. My last name is Galvan, but there's actually a band in California by the Galvan family. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. And there was actually another band. There was another band that we're actually working with also in South Central Texas that we're learning about. So with the genealogy, it's basically everywhere in down Central Texas area. And we actually came also through the Bering Strait. So I thought that was pretty fascinating.
Now, the reason I was asking about Iroquois is I know with like I mentioned before, down from my father's side of the family, there's the Micmac Indian, and it was just this past year that he learned from one of his aunts from, I believe, from his father's side of the family, that there was also Iroquois or whatever.
Okay.
So that gives me something to research, to look into a
Right.
little bit more. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, there's people that come up there and say, we're 90%, 100%, or whatever, and there's not 100% anymore, and there's not 90% anymore, and
Right.
basically to the past times and everything like that, everything has been deleted.
Yeah.
On my family line so far, there's like 31%. My mom's like around 45%. My brother's like 31. So we're over a quarter. So which is fine. But I still, still follow a lot of the Native American traditions taught by me by elders, all different types of elders all around the United States. So, which I fear, which I hold dear. Because the thing is, again, what makes me me is like, God, when I sit down there and talk to elders from all other states and all other tribes, and that's what makes me me.
Right. But yeah, there's a big part of me that's really fascinated and entertained by the culture, you know, of Native American history, regardless of what tribe it is, you know. But then again, backing up, learning that I don't care if it's 2%, I don't care how small the percentage is, that might be deep down in the bloodline, is still the fact that somewhere down our family tree, there's that Native American bloodline in there, you know, and
Yeah,
it's kind of exciting to know that,
right. See,
still.
see, because a long time ago, it was taboo for us to be for anybody to know that you were Native American Indian because there were laws and everything like that stating that if you see more than one Native American Indian together, call the sheriff, or if you see a Native American Indian at the courthouse, shoot him. You know, there was laws that were actually like that. And what made it who changed this law was George W. Bush Jr. was very not too long ago.
Hmm.
So, but the thing is, again, the laws were still out there, and
Yeah.
a long time ago, people did not want to be Native American Indians because they were afraid that they might be hung or killed or shot, and
Yeah.
a lot of people actually, rather be Mexican or Spanish than Native American Indian, or else they'll be shunned or basically tabooed. So,
Right.
you couldn't even bring a feather into a house, and that would be considered disrespectful or basically dealing with witchcraft. And so it was a lot of stuff like that that really killed the culture a lot.
Hmm. Yeah, because I don't. We know Hollywood's got a lot of different Western movies and different. I've watched different movies that portrayed having Native Americans in them, regardless if it's Last of the Mohegans, or Geronimo, or any of those kind of movies. But even though they may not, some of the movies, Hollywood movies, they may not be accurate with actual history. But at the same time, you like to think that some of them are based off of some true facts where, where they get the idea to do this. It must be something known in history where, but then again, man's got their imagination as well. But,
You know how Geronimo got his name?
um, I don't want to make a guess and sound stupid, but I'll just say no. I have an idea, but I don't want
Okay,
to.
baby, you don't know this idea. Uh, Geronimo attacked a Spanish settlement and a church, and in St. John's Day.
Hmm.
And St. John in Spanish was called Jerónimo. And then they was praying for St. John for them to save them or help them or protect them. And they were saying, Jerónimo, Jerónimo, ayúdanos, Jerónimo, help us, Geronimo, Jerónimo. So, and ever since then, and so the warriors went up there and called Geronimo, Jerónimo, Jerónimo. So that's how he got his name, Jerónimo.
Okay, because wasn't that way back when, that was where there was that's how a lot of Native Americans started to learn English from the different missionaries and stuff. They
Yeah,
just come
but
in there try to teach, preach to them.
correct. But you forget because a long time ago they spoke a lot of Spanish, and Jerónimo is basically a name for John.
Okay,
So, yeah, so that's why a lot of the names were given by Jerónimo. That's why Saint Jerónimo was basically Saint John, and then so that's how he got his name. But he had another Indian name, so his name was basically Yans. That was
hmm.
his very first name, and I don't know the name how they actually used the word, but
Yeah,
that's how everything got started.
interesting. Now, briefly, I'm trying to watch the chat here, and I see a couple things. Um, First of all, let me jump on this one here. I just noticed this one. I'm just reading random comments. He's Native and First Nations. Some of it feels like hocus pocus. I just don't know. And then here's what Harold has to say about Virginia, North Carolina. Now, this is something you might know, considering you're actually originally from Virginia. Um, Daniel, I have learned that many tribes of I don't know how to pronounce
Aurora.
Yeah, and Cherokees in Virginia and North Carolina. Oh, and Tennessee spoke their your Iroquois language. So
Iroquois Nation language. That's basically correct.
okay.
Yes,
I do know that Cherokees did, as far as you mentioned the Cherokees, I know they had passed through here in Virginia, and I don't know. There wasn't really a long period of time that they settled here. I'll have to read back up on that. I knew a little bit about that, but I know, well, even I know you know, just based off of a lot of the different names here on the east coast of eastern shores and eastern parts of Virginia, that we
the
have a lot of
Monopanai,
different tribes. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the Monopanai, the Pamunkey, the Nansman, so many different tribes like that.
I
You can,
know.
yeah, you still find their potteries down the sea, down by the parks and everything like that. So I
Mm,
remember a story that they used to tell that they used to find pottery down by the beaches, and some young little brats would actually bust them open with rocks, and that was maybe like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So a lot of the stuff had been destroyed, and so you know, and then so look at what we got now. So
yeah, some of the different names I know very well because uh, I grew up on the other side of Virginia, so I got to know like names like the Mattaponi because I know the river. I used to fish in the Mattaponi River. Um, then you got Massaponax is the name of the area that is part of Spotsylvania, and yeah, and what other names? Yeah, the Pamunkey. I know
the
the
Pamunkey,
Pamunkey. Yeah, and I know the Pamunkey River as well. Just those different names, it's just pretty cool.
yeah,
And then
the Nansman also too. I mean, the Nansman, a great family chief bass, fantastic man. And again, just people that I admired and respected, and they respected me as well. And then again, it's dealing with honor. And I could go to an announcement. I was actually head dancer at the Nansman powwow,
hmm,
and again, it was a great honor. So
that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, I know. I know, like here, even here in the Shenandoah Valley, and I bet there's so much more. But I know just from going into one of the local antique stores here, not far from me, they have on display in a glass case. They're actually selling it, but it looks like something that should be more in a museum.
right,
But they have a lot of different authentic arrowheads and different parts of all kinds of different accessories and stuff that were found from Native Americans here in the Shenandoah Valley, which was pretty fascinating. So even look, Shenandoah. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I like to believe Shenandoah was a Native American name as well. So um,
see, and I have this little piece of pottery that actually came from Virginia. And on the sides here, I don't know if you can see it or not. They actually use a corn and actually wrote the size to make the to make the design. And a friend of mine from from the Nansemond tribe actually gave me this. So stuff like this I hold real dear, and they just don't give this to anybody.
right.
It's a people that they respect and honored, and so that I basically have a little piece of them with me, and I try to do everything in my power, to make sure that I don't cause dishonor to any of my friends or any of my friends in Virginia or here. So so that's what makes us us.
Now, if say if I was to come across a part of old pottery, would I be able to recognize it as pottery, or will it look like stone to me? Like if I were to find it, you know.
It would be like for you, Daniel. I don't mean to disrespect you in any particular way. I don't think that you would recognize it.
Okay, see,
You,
that's what I'm saying. I feel like I wouldn't anyway. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I like looking at different stones around the creek beds and stuff. I mean, yeah, they're probably just simple stones, but some of them have like a smooth, I don't know, just different things that fascinate me. There's certain particular stones catch my attention, and I got some on my mantle. I have because they're just they look like they might have been a part of something at one point because they're
Right.
just the way they're smoothly curved and they're cupped inside and and whatever it may be. But I don't know. Stones do fascinate me. So I know that's something more of a kid would probably collect, but I mean, well, my daughter kind of got me into it, so but it got me looking at them more because you never know, I might get fortunate and find arrowheads or something around there,
Yeah,
So
because rocks, we call them the stone people because they've been here in this world longer than we have, and they'll be here in this world longer than uh, uh, than we'll leave it. They basically are historians. They basically hold our truth, our lives into rocks because they
mm,
will never, ever, ever fade away. That's why that's why arrowheads have been around for so long because they're made out of stone.
nice. Yeah, so I might I'm gonna continue looking. I don't know. If things work out in my favor, I might I know it's supposed to be cold this weekend, but I might still ride out there this weekend to try to explore. I was out there last weekend, and I just felt like my exploring was slightly limited. Of course, with all the rain we've been having up this way, it's got the creeks and the rivers and everything. Even the small streams flooded over pretty good. But
Right.
luckily I still have the balance to cross over logs. I walked across a couple logs going across a wide creek. So um, I still have it in me though. My father used to have me cross over logs and streams when I was a little kid when he used to take me hunting. But it's something that Well, plus I used to frame houses. If I could walk across a 2x4 on a second level, with nothing to catch me, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm all right. So, um,
Now, are there any
oh,
other more questions, Daniel?
well, I was just looking at the chat. Audrey Fry is on here. I haven't seen her on here forever, but she's off of work. Oh, she said she was out in her woods this weekend. Cool. Audrey, she lives in Ohio. So, in Ohio, a very squatchy state. So, good to have you on here, Audrey. So, and let's see. There's a lot of people saying a lot of different things on here. Kelly Ray Jones is mentioning a few things. I'm trying to keep up with his stuff. He says something about old legends here. Let's see what he says. The old legends and stories should surely be preserved and given unto the newer generations. I agree with that.
That I there's sometimes too that I met some elders that I mean they're very, very honorable. And there's sometimes that some of the stories are basically like gifts. And if you come up there with somebody that's a young man or a young lady that's totally disrespectful,
Right.
then it's not worthy enough to have your gift or share your secrets with. They wouldn't share it with the individual with that certain individual. But if a young person that's very honorable, very respected to the community and everything like that, and maybe that certain elder wouldn't mind sharing their legend and their stories with that individual, that they'll know that they will keep it for a very long time to compare to somebody who's disrespectful and don't give a damn. So it basically depends upon who he wants to give a gift to.
Right. Let's see. What else we got? It looks like Harold's giving some more history here from his side of the family.
Yes.
He said, my mom's, the Jones line, started out in 1630s, living in Henricus, I don't know if you meant Henricus Park settlement, located along banks of the James River near Chester, Virginia. They migrated down through North Carolina. Um, they intermarried with Lumbee Indians.
Lumbee. Cool. Yes, I know the Lumbee very well. Wow,
Nice.
that's amazing. Heather Locklear is a Lumbee.
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
yes. There's a lot of Locklears that are Lumbees. Oh yeah,
that's
sure.
that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, that's a man. That's a man. I haven't heard of Lumbee for a long time. I'm glad that he asked that question. Oh,
Yeah,
brings that
yeah.
memory.
What can you tell us about the Lumbee Indians? I'll be honest, I'm unfamiliar with them. I know there's a lot of different tribes and out there that I'm familiar with a lot, but there's a
Yeah,
lot that I still don't.
I don't know too much about the Lumbee, but I know the some of the people there from the Lumbee tribe, and they were just those people were just totally fascinating, very big hearted, and so that they were Lumbee, and again, it's just the people, and the way they acted, it was totally fascinating. So we were at powwows, and we just sat down there, and we didn't talk too much about the history and everything like that. We more talked about the dance and the music, and so I mean, they were just a great group of people. So
Hmm.
yeah,
YouTube user Cherokee Blood says, "Those that whisper to gain your ear, know their words your soul will fear. Run, my little ones, for the feathers will fall. The big brother of the forest will take us all." That's a
wow,
pretty good little poem. Yeah,
love that one.
yeah, that's pretty cool. And
That's amazing. That's so true.
Baltimore said, "I have about 15 line surnames in my direct line: Anderson, Cox, Revels, Lowry, Riddle, and Smiths."
God, there's so
Huh?
many. Wow, so many Andersons and so many Smiths. Wow.
Yeah. I got thrown off by Harold's profile picture. I see it's a female. I think it's his daughter in the picture. I'm used to seeing his face. And Audrey goes on to mention about the Lumbee. She said they're beautiful people.
Beautiful people. Let me tell you one thing. I never, there's some times when you go down over there and you go to powwows and talk to all different types of people. The Lumbee people, I mean, just the way they act, they have a big heart, and it's totally fascinating. That's the beauty about them. And I kind of wish I could have learned a little bit more about the Lumbee, but again, just by the people that represented the Lumbee were just fascinating.
Mm. Barry Preston Robertson says Papa used to trap. He never took a gun till suddenly he started packing a pistol. He never said what. He's never said what, but something scared him. I hear similar things with various people that go in the woods and they see things and they never talk about it. Actually, a story that was shared to me, it was a secondhand story. Well, it was secondhand when it got to me because the individual who shared the story was there, but him and two other guys were camping. This was over 20, 30, almost 30 years ago. But they were camping. He took me to the spot where he camped at, and there's a lot of activity there. Well, they were camping in this area, and the one gentleman had to go off. I actually shared this a while back, but the one individual had to walk away from camp to go do his business, and I guess he had a lantern or some kind of light with him. But when he got to a spot where he was getting ready to do his business, yeah, I don't know how far along he got, but he heard some rustling in the bushes behind him. He turns around, and all of a sudden, looking probably about the subject was probably 7 foot tall, about 5 feet away from him. This is just staring right at him, and the guy would probably was froze for a few quick seconds, and then turned around and jetted off. Got back to camp and stayed around the fire. And never went to bed that night. Just kept the fire going and as big as he could keep it. Well, he never shared what he saw or what happened to him till many years later. The buddy of mine I used to work with, he reached out to that guy and he's like, "Look," he says, "what happened to you back then?" And the guy told him, he said, "You'll never believe me." And the guy said, "Try me," because this guy here, he believes there's something out there, but at the same time he's a skeptic. He's open minded. But the guy shared the story and told him what he saw, and so that kind of fascinated him. And he said, "This guy, he believes this guy saw something." And like you said, he described it being around 7 feet tall. There was 5 feet in front of him. I mean, I don't know if I was in the same situation. I don't know. I probably would. I don't know. I really don't know what if I was in this situation. You know, I don't know how far away from the camp he was, but so that was interesting. So, um, yeah, so that was interesting. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Legend says that the last colony intermarried into the Lumbees, and that's how they were never found. Huh. Interesting.
That's a good one.
Baldemar, are you familiar with what?
The Lost Tribes?
What? Yeah, or as far as the Lumbee, are you familiar with what language they may have spoke?
No.
No.
I remember, if memory serves, I think that there were a lot of stories that, like I said, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the lost colonies were basically uh, helped out by getting out copper from mines. I think it was, and yeah, that's what something like that. Where a lot of the people talked about it. A lot of the Native Americans talked about it. Where these people were, where the last location was. And I think that they did some research on it a long time ago, and dealing with the stories about it, that they were actually pounding down out copper. And I want to say in North or South Carolina. Yeah.
Kelly Ray Jones shares something interesting. He said, Grandpa Riley always told me to be careful in the woods or by the river because the wild hairy man would rip my head and arms off. And if I see him or a wild woman, leave them be and get to stepping. Then he goes on to say down here, he also told me if I saw a feral wild boar, a boy or girl, to ride the wind and let it not hit my rump. That's interesting.
Yeah, because the thing is, again, it's like if we would see something like that, see something different, or something that because normally, let's say for example, if I would see a Bigfoot on the path or whatever, I would take whatever I had in my pocket. And normally, when I'm out there in the woods, I come up there and have food in my pocket or water or whatever in my pocket, and I would just raise it up in my hand. Let's say, for example, if this was my offering, I would just put it up in the air and I would place it down on the ground like that. He could actually see me do that and just walk away. So and it's just a little prayer, little offering, and just slowly step back and just take off. So that's what we normally do when we do certain things. Even when we cut a branch or whatever, we leave tobacco offerings behind and thanking the tree for the arm that it gave him for to keep us warm. There's certain little things that we do in ceremonies that I cannot speak that much about it, so I shouldn't go this far with it.
Right.
Certain things that we do that are sacred.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hold on. Hold on. See, Harold says something else about the Lumbee here. Oh, wrong one. Where is it? Chavis is a big Lumbee Indian family surname found living in the Robson County, North Carolina.
Wow.
Interesting. So yeah, I'm actually learning a little something new tonight. But
Yeah.
so, now let's see what Audrey has to say. On my great grandmother's mountain, when we went hunting, we gave our first kill to the forest on a particular stump, and then we went on our way.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
To me,
yeah, there's
yeah,
sometimes too is again we leave offerings behind too on stumps and everything like that, like what Audrey said, and again we just leave offerings behind, and that's even when we do our meals. we leave a plate for grandfather outside. And
Right.
again, shouldn't talk that much about it either, but that's the kind of stuff that we do. So that but again, it is again, it's just an offering. So
Yeah, leave your kill. That's to me that sounds like that's a pretty powerful offering
oh
in a peaceful manner too. Showing that hey, the forest provides for us. We want to share.
oh sure.
So
I mean, I've actually there's sometimes when I actually did a kill myself and I actually did left it there for the spirits and God, Daniel, I can't. There's certain things that I do and certain ceremonies that I do with the animal, and I can't speak that much about your show because again, it's sacred.
right.
Uh, but God, but again, it's like uh, even though I mean, there's some people that hunt animal for sport. They hunt them for their racks and they leave their body parts behind and just take their heads and to leave the body for them to rot. And that's a terrible way to do it.
Yeah, I see a lot of that.
Ah, and there's sometimes also too is, there's sometimes when we come out there and we have uh, like corn in our pockets or water in our pockets and actually give the deer, basically give the deer the last rites, and pray over the deer. And and there's certain things that we do, to honor our brothers that we actually killed, and thanking grandfather for what he gave us. And there's a lot of people that tend to forget that. That basically you take a life to like that other people could live, and a lot of people don't take that seriously, but a lot of people do.
Oh yeah,
That's the big difference between honor, just be thankful for what we have.
absolutely. See, there was something else I was going to bring up. Might have been something from the chat. Let me go back a little bit. Oh no, I think I might have. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I was just double checking something. You have any plans to go out anytime soon to do some exploring of your own?
God, let me tell you one thing, Daniel. It's that again. It's that I mean, dealing with researching, and you learned a lot. Again, let me tell you one thing. You learn a lot.
Oh yes, yes.
And the thing is, again, it goes. Sometimes, again, I always say in this show, you gotta, uh, sharpen your technique and everything like that. Uh, 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 and I'll give you all viewers an example. Uh, a certain friend of the family came up and said, "Man, Mr. Galvani goes, Bigfoot has been coming to my house just about every night, and there's sometimes that he actually called me one night and telling me he had a shotgun in his hand that he was going to shoot if he saw it." I went to his house and calmed him down. He goes, "Hey, dude, don't worry about it. Everything will be all right. Just blah blah blah." And every night, dude, he comes up and he goes, "Man, Mr. Galvani," goes, "he's down here every night. He's freaking me out." And then so I told him, he goes, and so this weekend we went to his place, and we were out there for a few hours, didn't hear anything, nothing at all. He goes, "Man," and I didn't know what to think. So and then so I went back. I went back for a few more hours and researched out there for a little bit. And and I was going to my thinking to him. He goes, "Man, dude," he goes, "Tell me, what are you doing different?" He goes, "When did he come out?" He goes, "When I cook." He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Just about every night." He goes, "Sometimes at night, you're going to have a friend over and we'll barbecue." He goes, "You barbecue?" He goes, "Yeah." And then I'll play some loud Spanish music. I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." And then so he goes, "Man, I cook briskets, I cook fajitas, I cook everything out here in this grill." And then, but that's when it comes out. That's when you hear it. So I left at 1 o'clock in the morning, and the people that were actually there came up there and said that they actually started yelling at between 2 o'clock and 2:30 in the morning. So I said, okay. He goes, this thing gets attracted by the barbecue smell, the smell that he actually cooks. And after he gets done, he'll go get his onions that he actually puts in the grill and throws it into the woods. And I said, all right. So next time when we go out there again, so we're actually going to do another investigation, but we're actually going to be cooking, going to have our tents out there, and we're actually going to put our recorders like pretty close to like 200 yards away in the brush where we actually heard it, and we're going to see what we catch in audio.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've done similar. I've done similar things as far as like leftover. Like, yeah, you use onions or whatever. Of course, I love onions. But I have done similar things like throwing raw pieces of onion and stuff like that out there. But yeah, I like to I like to put my recorders somewhat close in a way. But then again, I learned a lesson by that's not always a good idea because I've always picked up my snoring because the recorder I use, it's pretty good. It picks up long distance anyway. So I have been known to, leave it out in the area where a lot of like where I camp at. Across from where I camp is where a lot of the activity has taken
Wow.
place, and that's where back in 2014 is where our encounter happened. So the
Right.
main spot where I camp at a lot is right across from there.
Right.
So yeah, what I'll do, especially if I know if I'm gonna be out there for a period of time and I know like there's gonna be rain coming.
Right.
Well, what I try to do is look for trees that might have a small opening in them or a stump, and I'll take my recorder and just hide it inside the tree with a microphone part sticking out, where if there's anything in the area, it'll help pick up. And I mean, over the years, I have picked up different vocalizations, different howls and stuff that kind of like really blew my mind. I don't. Some of them, I only have a couple of them uploaded. They're you can find them on my SoundCloud, but there's some I never did upload. It's just they would be too faint once you upload them. You wouldn't hear them as good as you do the original audio. So,
Oh
but
wow.
yeah, but later on, I need to find a way to upgrade my my equipment so I could
Right.
get better stuff to upload. But I mean, don't get me wrong. The recorders I use, it's not a real expensive one. It's about $35-$40. Olympus digital audio recorder, and it does great. And that's one thing I recommend. A lot of people ask me when it comes to that kind of stuff. What do you recommend? I said, well, this is all you really need. But you know, and it does great. Like I said, don't get me wrong. It really does good. But shoot, I've left them out in the woods for a whole week. They
Wow.
do record as long as you got a good fresh set of batteries on there in there. They will last you. I've had over I think the most hours of recording on there. I think I on one because you have different slots inside there, and you can fill up a whole spot over. You get over close to 50 hours of record time just on
Oh wow.
one. On one folder. It's got like 4 different folders, but one folder will get you'll get about close to 50 hours of record time. Which that kind of sucks because once you want to review it, you go through so much of it each day. And the one thing I do too is when I look at the time, okay, I'm pushing record. It's such and such time now. That way, each hour of record time, I say, okay, if I pick something up 3 hours in, okay, this happened at such and such time because I know the time I started it off. So, yeah, that's something I haven't done. I haven't set my recorder out in a while. There's a lot of different things I used to do a lot of. I need to get back into. So, but talking about getting out there and stuff and exploring and experimenting, I know March. So we're in February right now. Yeah, next month, around towards the end of next month, me and Darby Orcutt from North Carolina State University. Yeah, we've been out once before exploring, and it was a pretty good time last time we went out there. It was real hot last time we went out there. So going out next month, it'll still be a little cooler, probably a little more comfortable temperatures.
I'll be
But
right back.
oh yeah, sure. So yeah, me and Darby Orcutt will be out there doing some exploring next month. All right. Let's see. All right, Baltimore had to step away for a second. Let me see what we got going on the live chat here. All right. Audrey said yes. Keep your space. All right. What else we got going on here? Let me back up a little bit. Animals are very spiritual. Yeah, let me pull this up here. Kelly Ray Jones mentions animals are very spiritual, loyal, and highly intelligent beings. My cat lets me know things with variations of meows, purrs, noises, and bird talk. It is like pipe codes. People communicate in jails, prisons, reform schools, mental institutions. I actually have to agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Talking about birds in general, uh, like owls. I'll speak about owls briefly. Owls have a form of communicating, and especially at my camp at nighttime. One thing when I have other people out there, I can always tell them if you start hearing owls, if they start communicating, pay attention to the owls. After the owls are done communicating, listen to your surrounding area. You'll be surprised by the activity that kind of sparks and takes place. I always thought there wasn't much to this, but owls always actually seem to me almost trigger. They almost either trigger the activity or it's a more of a heads up. So I know other people have actually shared after I've shared this information in the past, and other people had said now that you mention it, yes, I've had that happen too. Um, Barry said, "Yeah, I've gotten over 60 hours off of one set of batteries and a cheap Walmart audio recorder." You probably have the same kind. Well, mine's audio. Mine audio recorder is a Olympus. I actually have two of them. Actually, one of them doesn't work. But let's see. Kelly Ray Jones. Let me read his comment. He said, regardless of weather, I get hate mail. He said, I get hate mail a lot. Bigfoots are higher than us, making humans more aggressive and primitive. In that retrospect, of course. All right. Now I just need time to listen to it. Yeah, I know. It's going to take you a few days to go through it. Depends on the time you have per day to go through it. I know I have in the past. It has taken me quite a bit to go through my audio, but you'll be surprised. You never know what you're going to get. As much as you want to fast forward through it, I know it can be kind of aggravating in a way. So a lot of times what I start doing is I'll leave my audio recorder out. I'll start recording before if I'm camping, I'll put it out there about an hour or two before I lay it down. That way, if I'm up and hear something, at least I'll pick it up on the audio. And even after you go to sleep, there's things that happen when you're asleep. Some of my best audio has happened in the middle of the night while I was asleep. So, let's see. Charles Martin said, I like that you started putting the name of your guest in the title or description. I try to, yeah. Now, keep in mind, Baltimore is actually considered a regular panel member. Sometimes he's not always able to be on here, but we love having Baltimore on here. He's a great asset to have along with us. He's very informative and knows a lot of Native American history. I love how he explains and breaks down a lot of information. And the thing is, just like me or anyone else, he's not afraid to admit if there's something he doesn't know, he's not afraid to admit that. So, but I'm not sure how long he's going to be. I was actually going to end it kind of early tonight. So if he gets on here anytime soon, I'm going to let him do a finish up talk. But meanwhile, a couple things I want to share with you guys. For those who don't know, we want to remind you, June 27th and June 28th, it's a 2-day event, the ECBRO 3rd Annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference. It's happening in Wares Cave Community Center at in Wares Cave, Virginia. I encourage you to come out there, bring your friends and family out there. If you want to visit our website, check that out. Our website. I'll have that scroll across the bottom of the screen. Once I find where I put it, it's VirginiaBigfootCon.com. So, and here it is right here. Right there, going across the bottom of the screen. Visit our website. All right, check out the pages, VirginiaBigfootCon.com. And visit our event page on Facebook, the ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot Con. Check it out. It's on Facebook. Browse through it. Check out our information. There's also a Facebook event invite link. You can go on there. You could add in your attendance if you're going or not. So definitely check that out. And hope to have you guys out there. Hope to meet new people. We are expecting a very, very nice turnout this year. We got a good, great lineup of speakers. I tell you what, if you give me a second, no, I won't be able to pull it up right now. But next time I'll show you the lineup of speakers next Friday. So, because we go live every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and yes, Baldemar is back with us again. So yeah. Here he is. Whoops. There we go. Hey, Baldemar, you there? I don't know where he went. I hear him. Baldemar?
Yes.
Oh, okay, there he is. So, well, yeah. I was giving everybody a rundown, just kind of reminding everybody about upcoming events. And
yes, I am. I'm just getting a double sound on here.
A double sound?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have my mic plugged back in. I could try to see if it fixes it.
I'll tell you what. Let me reset it again. Let me reset this again.
Okay. All right. All right. He's going to try it again. He was having some audio difficulties on his end. So yeah. If Heather McDuffie is still listening, we will get her on here, and we'll work on getting her on here in the future. We'll try again, see what happens. Yeah, people, you can come in through a phone, but it's a lot better if you have a laptop, and it's a more efficient, works a lot better. So as we're waiting on Baldemar to come back in, we're gonna sit tight and see what happens. Yeah, because like I said, when we get Baldemar in here, I'll get him to talk, throw some last words out there. So we're going to call it early night. Usually we run 2 hours long, but it's kind of been a long week for me, so I'm in the mood to kind of settle down and relax. So let's see. And do we got Yeah, there we go. We got Baldemar back.
Yay!
All right, how's it sounding now?
Good.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, Baldemar. Yeah, we're gonna somewhat call it an early night, but I wanted to wait till you get back on here. I wanted to know if there's anything you wanted to share with the viewers before we jump off here.
I mean, first of all, let me say something here. Dealing with the she squashers, dealing with Jenna. She was down here helping me research last weekend, and that young lady is totally. I cannot speak. I mean, she was highly impressive. There's an old saying that says, "If you can't run with the big dogs, just stay on the porch." And let me tell you one thing: she's ran with the big dogs, and there's sometimes she even left a few of us behind. And that little young lady is very intelligent and very knowledgeable about the subject about Bigfoot, and we're very, very impressed with her. And if y'all want to learn a little bit more about the she squashers, just go online and go on Facebook and just check them out. And these young ladies, what they do is just incredible. And I cannot speak anything negative about these young ladies. They're just incredible. Oh, for sure. I mean, there's nothing. There's sometimes there's some people that I don't. I don't let anybody. I don't invite anybody into where I research or anything like that. To me, that's it's a sacred place, and there's only a few people that are let in. People have been calling me from there sometimes out of state and everything like that, wanting to go to the places, for me to show them. But I'm just not comfortable of showing people my places that I go to. These are mine, and I don't share with anybody. But the people like Mr. Morley and just a handful of others is where I let people come into my area for them to check it out. And the she squashers, Jenna with one of them, again, should be very impressive. So what we're trying to do now, possibly in like 2 or 3 more weeks, we're going to try different techniques out there and see what we catch. I mean, we're so close. I mean, we're so close about trying to catch it on video and audio. But all that we could do is try, our best until we get it. It might be this week, next month, next year. At least to make an effort. At least that we try.
Oh yeah.
I'm not. When it does happen, I will put it up, and but I'm not going to. I just call it the way I see it. If it's blurry or whatever, I won't put it up. But if something that's really needed to be seen, then I'll show it to the rest of the public. This weekend, I probably might be playing with my camera down the deep parts of the creek. And again, it's luck. It's just finding it, when you least expect it. Sometimes you only got a second, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, but I have to be prepared and ready for it. So,
Absolutely. Now, for those who are interested in wanting to come meet the she squatchers, if you're in or around Virginia, or you plan on coming to Virginia, or to the ECBL Virginia Bigfoot Con happening June 27th, June 28th, the she squatchers will be there. Yes,
oh man,
they will be there. So
there. Let me tell you one thing: is I mean, and then there are, if you want to meet somebody that are, again, a female research group that's totally fascinating. I mean, they're very knowledgeable in the subject. I met them at Daniel's uh, 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 event that he had one year, and they were like fantastic. Great group of young ladies, full of spirit. You can meet a wonderful group of women that really does the subject of Bigfoot proud. So
absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, on the chat, I want to thank you again, as always, for being a part of this and interacting with us. And a lot of you guys brought us some really great stuff, and it helped add to our discussion. And again, we love having Baldemar on here. And I know Baldemar, you get busy a lot, but definitely, any opportunity, any chance you can, we go live every Friday night. If you're able to make it, definitely let me know, because I know you get caught up and tied up with other things. So that's why I asked you earlier today. I sent you a message when I was at work if you were able to join in tonight.
Man, there's sometimes, Daniel, I got too many irons in the fire, and there's sometimes you deal with family life, and again, family comes first,
Right.
for me, and then Bigfoot research and everything like that, comes in the back burner. But as long as I have some time, and again, education, educating your viewers and everything like that about Bigfoot subjects, by all means, I love talking about it. So,
oh yes,
yeah, for for me, it never gets old. So.
Absolutely. And with that said, I want to remind everybody, if you're on YouTube, if you're viewing this for the first time and you're not subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button. That way, and make sure you click that little bell icon next to the word subscribe. That way you get the notifications every time we go live. Also, if you browse through the archives, the videos on my YouTube channel, you'll see that there's other past YouTube shows. There is other Facebook, excuse me, not Facebook. There's field videos I have uploaded as well. So feel free to browse through, check them out. And till next Friday, guys, I hope to see you there. You guys have a great night. And we're out of here. So, and of course, it takes forever to end this broadcast.